Hello there. So, yeah, book 7 of the Ritualist Chronicles invent. And I honestly forgot everything. No, I didn't forget everything. I remembered everything that's in the story, but it's like I was expecting more it to go the route of, big boss battles, the change of the world. However, it's kind of a mix between, it doesn't feel like the book's complete. It feels like it's halfway through the story or a portion of the way through the story, because it's like I just want everything to get done. I don't like the short, concise, oh, here's just one little mission that you're going to take care of. And the characters are so comedic. They're like a little too cartoonish to be seen as real. However, this is more of a, what is it? A building simulator type lit RPG. Like, what is it? What's it called? Where it's primarily about the crafting system. It's a crafting system RPG, lit RPG style than it is the actual, mission based, quest based type. And I like that. I like that aspect. It's just, it tries to mix them together in a way that it just feels like I enjoy it more when he's getting lost in the creativity of it all, rather than being hoisted off on something else, which just seems to be there for, an afterthought, because it's, oh yeah, this is a video game world and he needs to do all these quests, he needs to fight. But it's like you're focusing more on the crafting aspect. And yes, the crafting aspect doesn't make any sense. That's the one thing when you come into lit RPGs, that the magic system is just whatever they want it to be. And it turns into whatever is convenient. And it's aggravating, because it's like, here I would just rather see that be pushed. The following him, focus on that. Maybe questing, doing things for other people, inventing things, maybe occasionally fighting, which this is kind of like that. But it's like he's the center point of everything going on around him. He is the main character of the story. Joe is the main character of the story. So it makes sense as to why that's the case. But the fact that he has these masters that are mentoring him, the fact that he stumbles across everything. He was thrown into a trash chute in the last book and stumbled across things that basically allowed a master to teach him, to show him knowledge, because he found something that the master was unhappy with and tried to hide by throwing it in the trash chute. It's like I like the fact that he was in the trash chute. He was doing his own thing. But it's like there's all these little things that now he has a master. It would have been nice if he's just trying to figure things out on his own. I don't like that he's being talked to. I understand why it's there. It's okay that it's there, but at the same time, it feels like it's trying to be both things, where it's trying to be the push the story forward. Let's push the world building forward. Let's push the action sequences forward. But however, his primary goal is building things. His primary goal is crafting. But they seem to be trying to balance both edges, and I don't care for, like, I enjoy the books enough to continue with it, but it's just like, ugh, great. He gave himself his own quest to destroy a zombie horde in the last book. He comes back and ends up doing it by accident. And it's like, all right, I would have preferred if he would have just set that up, done it himself, planned it out himself, where he's not really, held down by everything else going on around him. I know he's basically put himself with the dwarves, but it would be nice if he was just unaffiliated and doing his own thing. It would be nice to follow a crafting person. Hopefully when he gets to the next territory, that'll be the case, where he just does his own thing. He formulates his own missions, stumbles into things which no one sees, like just in the trash chute, the zombie horde in the trash chute. He stumbles into that, and then all of a sudden, I would like that. I would like that, because he basically creates his own quests. He would see something, notice it, and say something to himself, and then a quest marker pops up. Because that's one thing about these immersive game worlds, where it's like they're open-ended. You're not, deliver this package for this person, and then they'll have you deliver this package to this person in this other city, so you explore the world. It's an open world concept. I like that. I like the fact that it's aggravating, because he's still roped into everything else around him that every other player is being roped into, which basically says that it's not open world. It's a linear story for everyone. He just happens to fall off the beaten path every now and then. I like it when it's an open concept for everyone, even though most people would try to find a structure. Try to find a structure. But yeah, it's still pretty interesting. It's like there's nothing going on in this book, though. It feels like this book and the last book and probably the next book all needed to be formed into one. I'm thinking so. I'll know for sure as soon as I get through the next book. But yeah, that's the only thing I'm thinking. It's just like it doesn't feel complete. There's so many things still in the air. There's nothing that was really resolved. Nothing really happened. I mean, if it was combined with the last book, then it would be like, okay, the main goal over everything was destroying the zombie horde. They finish that, and then they can go on to the next series, which is like the war, the fact that the dwarves are now a shattered race. It would make sense if that was the case, but it's like everything is just, I wrote this much, let's just show this half. Let's have this half come out as a book. I know it makes more money, but in the end, it's like I would prefer the story to be complete. You know, where at the beginning, middle, end, it feels like there's a whole story going throughout. There's one arc that dictates everything. Maybe I missed it. Because this one, it just seemed like the filler aspect where he's just crafting, building up his town, which I enjoy. I enjoy that, but it's like there was no real end goal whatsoever until he ended up destroying the zombies and finishing that quest by accident, which he gave himself a while ago. Yeah, in the other book. But yeah, I still enjoy this series. The series is still fun, even though the characters are a little over the top. The Jackson's just low charisma. Joe is basically doesn't know how to communicate with people. I don't like how charisma affects. It's one of those things that I think you would always be able to improve. I know it's done for a comedic beat, but it is kind of like, okay, now they're being toyed with by the system. But that makes sense because Cal is toying with them. But I still enjoy the series. I do. It's not like where you're trying to change time. But no, it's actually pretty interesting, even though it's like trying to balance what it's going to be and the fact that it's cutting these books in half just to have another printable medium for people to buy. It's kind of upsetting because it's like, I shouldn't be paying for this. This is literally another few chapters from the last book, just removed and sold separately. It's the DLC content that is actually a part of the main story that they just, split up to, like, back in the day when games would come out and they would have, the DLC content will come out later, and it was already installed on the original disc because they just split it after the fact. But yeah, that's the way I feel about it. But it doesn't change the fact that I still enjoy the story. I still enjoy the fact that it's more about the crafting than it is about the following the linear story, even though I don't like how he is being pulled into the linear story. I'm hoping that after this section, it'll be more open-ended for him to just do his own thing, which ends up either working for one group of people or the other. He'll do quests here and there, just being unaffiliated. I would like that. Thank you all for watching. This series is definitely worth a read. Honestly, Dungeonborn was still by far the best one he created. The others that I've gone through, I didn't care for as much. The Ritualist, I enjoy it. I do enjoy it because it's still kind of linked to Dungeonborn. I kind of wish there was more to Dungeonborn, even though this, I guess, is, and the other books he's created in the same world are, but they're not as entertaining. The characters aren't as enjoyable as Danny, as Cal, as I forgot the human character's name. But yeah, it's not as entertaining as those, because those were just gems and a wisp, who were the main characters of the actual story, and that's more entertaining than a human, ex-military, or whatever he was. But yeah, thank you all for watching. This series is definitely worth a read. If you haven't gone through anything of Dakota Crouch, go through Dungeonborn. Definitely recommend that one first, especially if you like fantasy, because it's primarily fantasy. It's not lit RPG like the Chronicles, the Completionist Chronicles like this. It's legit fantasy, because it's before putting in video games. It's before putting any of that. Thank you all for watching. Talk to you next time. Toodles.